Hi, Mr. SooHoo. Okay, I'm doing this completely no script or anything, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm really sorry that you have to grade so many of these. But it's definitely helping us as students to study for this test coming up, so yeah. I'm going to start with the easy part first. Reflect on your learning from this unit. I definitely learned a lot in this unit, but I think that I procrastinate way too much, and I think that I just need to really get on myself and study a lot sooner and do this video a lot sooner than I'm doing right now. So that's just for future reference, but I think the quiz was awesome, how we did that in class, and it's really helped a lot. And I think doing these videos are great because it helps us explain the problems to, well, basically ourselves, but to other people that might watch them. It might help them understand these problems a lot better. And I know for me, after explaining these problems to people, it helps me understand them a lot better and put them to everyday use. So yeah, let's do some math. Okay, so for transformations, I'm going to do a quadratic equation. Now, when we have a quadratic equation, if the god is y equals x squared, so this is what the slope would look like, and that's what the lines would be like. Now, you automatically know that it's a quadratic equation if it has squared. So this is a problem that we're going to do, and obviously it's a quadratic equation because it has squared. Now, the negative in front of the 3 means that we're going to reflect downwards. So this slope is going to completely basically switch to the opposite side. So instead of the arrows pointing up, they're going to be pointing down. And then this 3 is the slope, so it's basically 3 over 1. So that means that the slope is going to get the lines are going to get a lot thinner, making these lines thinner. And then inside the parentheses, we have this positive 3 right here. But when it's in the parentheses, it becomes a negative because you always do what's the opposite in the parentheses. So it's going to go down 3 on the x-axis. So if we wanted to graph this right now, first of all, it'd be reflected. So we can start at 0, and we're going to move down 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, and that's our first plot. And then since we have a slope of -3 over 1, but since it's a negative, it's reflecting downwards, so the arrows are going to be facing the different way. So we're going to go down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1, and then same for the other side, down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1. So it's just going to become it's going to get a lot thinner than the top one. And yeah, so basically when there's a negative in front of the slope, it completely reflects to the other side. So it reflects down. And if the slope is a higher number, like a 3, or if the slope isn't a fraction and it's a solid number, then it's going to be narrower. But if it's like 1/2, it would be wider, because you'd be going down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, so it would just get a lot wider. And then inside of the parentheses, just make sure if it's a positive, always switch it to a negative, or if it's a negative, always switch it to a positive, because when it's in the parentheses, it's always the opposite. So the correct answer to this problem is that it was reflected. It was reflected down, and then it was moved 3 units to the left. And then that would be the correct answer on the test. So now I'm going to do systems of equations. So I'm going to do this problem right here where it's 3 problems and we have to find x, y, and z for each problem. Using each problem, we can find x, y, and z through substitution and elimination. So x plus y plus z equals 600. 3x plus 2y plus 7z equals 3,150, and then 150 plus x equals z. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to Roman numeral these numbers, these equations, just so that it makes the process a little bit easier. And we're going to pick 2 of the problems, and we're going to use elimination to narrow it down just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 and 2 right now, just because we can easily eliminate the y. So rewrite the problem. You're going to do x plus y plus z equals 600 for 1. And then for 2, it's 3x plus 2y plus 7z equals 3,150. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to multiply the first equation by -2. So this is going to come out down here, -2x minus 2y minus 2z equals, let me get, -1,200, right? -1,200? Okay. Calculator to make sure. We have 600 times -2 is, yes, -1,200. Basic math. So that is what our first equation became, and we're going to rewrite the second equation right below it. Lining up the x's, the y's, and the z's, and the solid numbers, just to make it a little bit easier for us. 7z equals 3,150. So right away, okay, so first we're going to add down, but right away we can cancel out these y's because a -2 plus +2 equals 0. So there go those y's. They're gone. So right off the bat we have 1x. So we have x, and then we have -2 plus 7. So that would be 5. Basic math again. And that equals -1,200 plus 3,150 equals 1950. So we have 1,950. So this is going to be, 5z, sorry, my fault. So this is going to be our first equation. We can just number this. We'll number this number 4, because this will be the first one that we're going to use. Now, we eliminated the y's from this equation, so we're going to want to pick 2 more equations to eliminate the y. But we can't use 1 and 2 again. So I'm going to use... Oh, actually, we don't need to use 2 more equations. We can just straight off the bat. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract x from both sides of equation 3. And that's going to give me z minus x equals 150. And that'll be equation 5 for us. So that is our second equation right now. So now that we have these 2 equations, we can line them up together to cancel out x. So I'm going to switch this around again. I'm sorry that's confusing, but this is going to turn into -z. Oh, wait. No, this is going to turn into -x. -x plus z equals 150. And then we're going to put equation 4 right underneath it so we can cancel out the x's, which is x plus 5z equals 1950. And then we add down again. So this straight out cancels the x's. So now we have 6z equals 2,100. And then we're going to divide both sides by 6, and we get z equals 350. So that is our z. So now that we have z, we can plug it back in to another equation to find. So now that we have z, I'm going to plug it into equation 3. Wait, how did I do this? Yeah. So now that we've found z, I'm going to actually plug it back into this equation so we can automatically find x. So what we have right now is that's going to be 350 minus x equals 150. So we're going to subtract 350 from both sides. And then what we have is we have negative x equals negative 200. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 1 to make it positive x equals positive 200. So that is what our x equals. So now that we have both x and z, we can find y. And to find y, you can plug it back into any of these 3 equations. But I'm going to plug it into 1 just because 1 is the simplest. And that'll be the easiest, quickest one. So for 1, we're going to plug in 200 for x because that is the x value, plus y because we're still trying to find y, and then plus 350 because that is the z value, and that equals 600. And then we add 200 plus 350, and that equals 550 plus y equals 600. Then subtract 550 from both sides, and we have y equals 50. So now that we have all 3 variables and what they equal, we can write the answer to the equation. And writing the answer is super simple. You do parentheses, x, 200, comma, y, 50, comma, z, which is 350, and parentheses, and that is the answer to this equation. Okay, so I'm really sorry about 2 things. I am so stumped on how to do the line of best fit with my graphing calculator. And I took like 4 pages of notes, and I've tried it all out, and I literally can't. I'm going to come in class, and I'm going to ask you for help because it's really troubling me, and I got really frustrated, and yeah, so I'm just not gonna try to do that anymore. It's a bummer about the 10 points, but oh well. No. And then I'm so sorry that my video was so boring and not creative. Like, the only cool visual is that I'm probably on my boat, but that's not even that cool. Sorry I'm not, like, doing, like, flips into the ocean or anything, but maybe the next video, I'll do something fun, or play music or something. But this video helped me so much, thank you, because really, like you say in class a lot, explaining these problems helps so much to understand the problems, because when you explain them, it totally, you have it in your head on how to do them. It's like the answer to the question, so it just makes it 10 times easier. And I'm definitely ready for the test tomorrow, and yeah. Thank you. Sorry you have to watch so many of these videos. I will see you in class tomorrow. Bye.